Take it easy down there.
So I'm looking forward to seeing the new town flag flying somewhere soon. And as we all should know, this is the 80th anniversary of VE Day. Awesome. I see also that Ivy Brook Greenway is still for sale, and I was hoping that the town would take it make it into a park or open space. It's a beautiful piece of land. And now for a quality of life issue. As we all know, all registered motor vehicles in Connecticut need to have a working muffler. Yesterday, a very loud motorcycle passed by my house, setting off a car alarm.
Join the meeting.
Yeah, he turned around, came back, and once again set off the car alarm. So Mayor Loretti, if you would ask the police to enforce muffler rules. Okay. And Riverview Park, once again, needs to be paved. And I'm told by our attorney that town hall is a limited public forum. And I noticed that on the clerk's office door out there is a request not to use cell phone cameras or cell phones in the office. That brings up the furniture issue once again. I asked them down there if that sign was either a statute or a policy, and they did not know. I encourage you all to make it a statute, because what happens, or what may happen very soon, is one of these frauditors will come in here. So they go down to the next office, stand there. With their cell phone camera on their gimbal. They will stand there until someone finally approaches or speaks to them and ask them what they're doing. And they'll get one of four answers. I'm an independent journalist gathering content for a story. I'm here to see if they will respect my First Amendment rights. I'm here to make a public records request, or I don't have to tell you that. And they'll stand there, and eventually someone behind the desk will ask them to leave. I don't have to leave. That sign is not a statute. It's not going to replace my First Amendment right as the press to gather content for my story. Eventually, the police are usually called in order to be trespassed from the property. Sometimes they'll leave, sometimes they don't. So I just encourage you all to make a statute to that effect. Awesome. I see we have on 9.3 appointments for anti-litter committee. Well, there's an old saying about committees. If a committee was required to decide whether Christopher Columbus would sail, he'd still be standing on the dock. I don't know why you need a committee to do litter pickups. And I'll leave you with a short poem. Richard Corey, in the 1960s, you may remember, Simon and Garfunkel wrote a song, Richard Corey. He went something like this. Whenever Richard Corey went downtown, we people on the pavement would look at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean-favored and imperially slim. And he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked. But still he fluttered pulses when he said, "Good morning," and he glittered when he walked. And he was rich, Yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled in every grace. In fine, we felt that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. So on we worked and waited for the light, and went without the meat and cursed the bread. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address? Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna address one point that this gentleman just brought up.
Name and address.
My name is Ken Chersky. I live in town at 40 La Hermitage Drive. I'm a member of the town's anti-litter committee. A couple months ago, our committee was asked by President Angles to address one of these meetings, one of your board meetings. And subsequent to that request, we were also forwarded a unsolicited letter to you, Mayor, and the board from an anonymous resident about the kind of the state of the town and how it looks and litter and such as that. So I'm here to represent the Anti-Litter Committee, which, by the way, is not a committee to clean up the streets. Rather, it's a committee to kind of coordinate cleanups of others, stop the street coordination, and thirdly, just an awareness and sounding board for residents of the town of Shelton. Just want to give you a real brief update. Thanks for your attention here. I'll be as brief as I can of the committee's recent changes and some sentiment the committee has on the state of our town, basically relative to changes of the town since COVID over the past 5 years. And I'll bring up a few issues there. Before I do, I really wanted to thank the departments of Highway and Bridges, Parks and Rec for maintaining the town's 118 trash cans that are around the town, and also fielding questions when residents or calls come in where some of the roadways are out of control with litter, and to send a team out there to clean it up and spruce it up. We appreciate that. And we'd also like to thank the mayor's office for providing us a accounting of the state's contribution, not from the state, but the NIP fund money that comes in, what's been spent, what the balance is, and what it's been spent on, which I guess there's a lot of press these days in social media about every quarter it's as high or higher, that each town gets $20,000, $30,000 a quarter. So we appreciated getting that information that people were asking about, so we could share that, where that money's going and how it's being used. And as of our last meeting in April, committee for the first time in 18 years had a full membership of 11 members. I think two more hopefully get agreed upon tonight. And I think that's a little bit telling. In the first time in 18 years, people in town care enough to join the committee, spend some of their personal time. And I think they're seeing that it's because of the general state of the town and some littered roadways that we're seeing and rubbish here. And so I think it's simple of why we have full membership. Lastly, there's been a lot of effort in the past 30 days that I need to mention. I think in the last 30 days alone, it was over 100 bags of garbage from various groups out there, canvassing the roadsides, picking up garbage here and there. The committee does have a it's probably been in place for a long time, top 10 roadways that we feel are really of issue. Some of them are state roadways, but in case I don't forget in closing, which I'll get to here shortly, there's a lot of roadways where residents or any pickup groups can't get out there to clean up the roadways. They're just too dangerous. And we can't even get an adopt a street program from others either. So in those cases, we really, really need the town's help to go out there with a couple guys in a truck or what have you to help clean them up. And those top 2 roads, you could probably know if you drive down them, are Nels Rock Road and Mill Street. That they're just too dangerous for anybody to get out there to clean them up. One thing I think we got to realize to move forward is, since COVID, a lot of changes in behavior have changed from people. One, our city's growing great. That's fantastic. Probably over 40,000 people. Secondly, we probably have every fast food franchise in existence along Bridgeport Ave. Okay, I guess that's pretty good. We got a McDonald's going up, double drive-through. But what's interesting to notice, since COVID, if you drive by, just pick on Wendy's over there on Bridgeport Ave, if you drive by there anytime day or night, there's nobody sitting in there eating, nobody. But there's a line of 15 or 20 cars coming out of Wendy's. Why? Everybody since COVID got used to, we used to go into Wendy's, order through a clerk, get a tray with a paper on it, get our soda, fries, hamburgers, sit down and eat. When we're done, we'd pick it up and we'd throw it in the garbage and head out. Nobody does that anymore. Everybody's in line for a drive-through. McDonald's is putting a double drive-through. Everybody sits and eats in their car, their cups, their lids, their straws, their bags, their barbecue sauce containers. When everybody's done, what do they do with it? Chuck it out the window. Chuck it out the window. We see it every day. You drive down Nels Rock Road, it's all there. I would say from the litter we see on city streets, from firsthand that I see, 70% of it's fast food wrappers, cups, and such from fast food. Probably the other 25 or 30% is energy cans, liquor cans, Tito bottles being on thrown to the side of the road is a big thing, nip bottles, and probably the rest is vaping products. So that's what we got along our roadways that we need some help, and a plea to the town for either for kind of a town has grown, that's great. Habits have changed, that's not so great as a case of litter. Kind of a plea saying we need some help. More and more residents that I talk to or whatnot are saying, yeah, it's a great town, everything's going good, we're booming, but we got to keep up with that growth, and we need to clean the streets up so we're not embarrassed when our family or friends come into town and drive down the roadways. I'm embarrassed if somebody comes to my place, drives up Nels Rock Road and sees the pizza boxes, the fast food bags, the cans, and everything all over the road. We should be able to pick it up. When we call into the town, which a lot of the residents have done recently, March and April, figured that maybe it was a good time before the greenery starts coming, we're met with a very nice woman who fields the call, says, we'll put it on the list, but I don't know when or if we could ever get to that, to clean up Nels Rock Road or Mill Street. Yeah, it just seems like we should have a better response from the town in whole. No, not unheard that. Yeah, we'll send some guys out there. I talk to a lot of the guys every morning down at the Worcester Market, and they're happy to come do it, but they just need direction to get out there and spend some time. Now they're going to be busy cutting grass and everything, and I guess it couldn't have gotten done here. I work and drive into Seymour every day, and on every Friday morning I drive into Seymour. I see the street sweeper out there downtown cleaning the roads, spick and span the roads. I read in the media how our neighboring town Stratford's doing beautification projects and what they have planned for the year, and I'm kind of unaware what we here in the great town of Shelton's doing to spruce up our place, beautification projects or anything we got planned. And I certainly can never see, although this morning I did see a street sweeper that was all white in nature driving up the road today, leaking some water on the road, but it wasn't working. But honestly, that was the first time that I've ever seen a street sweeper in town or anywhere around. Our ask is kind of simple here. Just need some help, manpower, attention, dollars, maybe some use of that NIP funding to kind of get out there and spruce up the roads and keep them clean. In closing, there was 3 things that the anti-litter committee came up with that they wanted me to express tonight, kind of our top 3 needs that we're looking for. Number 1, please, if we could address Mill Street and Nels Rock Road and pick up the garbage, the pizza boxes, cans and bottles and everything, that would be really great. So Mill Street and Nels Rock Road, if we could get somebody out there sooner than later, that would be fantastic. Number 2, in the top 10 roads where we have litter, we understand a lot of it's state roads, maybe a number, an extension, a name of somebody that the town may have at the state that when we think things are out of control, somebody could call up there and ask for a hand. The on and off ramps at Route 8 are kind of a disgrace and filled with garbage. Bridgeport Ave, the vibrant Bridgeport Ave, you drive up from Wendy's to Wells Hollow Farm, it's filthy most of the time. And from what we understand, it's too dangerous for us to get out there, or any residents to get out there, or we, the town, can't do it. We need some state help, and we certainly feel free to pick up the phone and call them if it's needed. And last, the other point we wanted to bring up is maybe get an update on the street sweeper. I heard it's broken. Can we get it fixed? Can we get it out there? Let's clean up the downtown a little bit. We got a lot of folks, new folks living downtown. The issue is just going to get worse, just waiting for McDonald's wrappers and cups and everything to start getting thrown all over the road. That's coming in. We got some ideas that, we would think if a company like McDonald's wants to come into our town, we would like to think that, you come into our town, sure, no problem. But, every quarter you're going to pay $2,500 to the town for blight and litter. That is never really going to happen. Not McDonald's fault, but their consumers' fault. Behaviors of people have changed. Things like that. We got a lot of thoughts from a committee, and maybe we could follow up on this topic another time. Even though at the last meeting that we had, somebody came up with a motto of some sort, if it could ever be utilized, if we had any programs to address the beautification of the town or litter, was something like help, shelter, and shine, don't litter. I don't know, a flag somewhere hanging on a light post or something. Bring some kind of awareness to this, because I could tell you firsthand, a lot of residents in the town, either we live here or don't, have noticed the state of disrepair in some cases of litter all around town. But, everybody's been doing, and the last thing was we put a garbage can, one of the 118 cans at a trailhead that I thought was a good idea. Town reacted to it quick, put the can in there. Every week I walk by, it's filled to. Garbage cans work. Yeah, we gotta buy them. We gotta clean them. We gotta put bags in them. We gotta have some manpower. They're doing a good job what's there, but you know what? They work. And I've seen that firsthand. So thanks for listening. Sorry to take so much of your time. And again, the anti-litter committee is not out there to pick up the roadways and streets. It's to help and organize, but that's not what the committee's here to do. It's here to talk about some of the things that I talked about tonight. So thanks, guys. Have a good meeting.
Anybody else wishing to address the board?
Thomas Harbinson, 15 Soundcrest Drive. I just have a couple of things I wanted to bring to the Board of Aldermen's attention. Just wondered about flying status at some of our public locations, schools, firehouses, whatnot. They haven't been flying to uniform standards. They've been pretty good, but during President Carter's passing and during the Pope's passing, they weren't all at half staff. And that was supposed to be the status through the interment of both of those individuals. So since not all public facilities were uniform, I'm hoping that could be addressed even on the way here. I'm not talking about private facilities. The Wells Fargo Bank on the way here, it's at half staff. It should be at full staff. I think it would be appropriate. Second item, I brought this to your attention numerous times, and now I'm doing it publicly. Our Conservation Commission appointments are stale. I sent a letter to Mayor Loretti and Alderman Anglis on July 9th of last year. No actions have taken place. I'm asking you publicly to give this attention that the charter demands. For the benefit of others who may not be aware, Commissioner James Tate, his last appointment expired 2020. Bill Dyer, his appointment expired 2020. Tom Wilson, his expired 2023. Sherry Maybeck expired in 2019. There was a vacancy when Ed McCreary resigned when he moved out of state, and that was in 2019. My appointment is stale since 2018, 7 years. And then there's another vacancy, most recently when Janet Wheeler resigned in 2024, May of last year. I hope that you can give that your attention. Refer to the letter I sent you in July. We have 2 recommendations of people who have been attending our meetings. The next item that I wanted to just mention, since it was mentioned in front of me, trash. Flat Road just before Long Hill Avenue has had some wood chips put down along the right of way, and the amount of trash already there is shocking. So I hope you can give some attention to what the volunteers preceding me just were mentioning. I brought it to some aldermen's attention before regarding out-of-state driver's plates in town. I'm hoping that you could give some reconsideration to trying to capture the tax revenue for vehicles who are not properly registered in our town. Danbury was able to capture hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax revenue a couple of years ago for that. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public portion, move on with the regular scheduled agenda. I have one question for Corporation Counsel that may require an addition to the agenda. I spoken to you the other day about Shelton becoming an intervenor status in the Aquarion sale. And I see that Fairfield just did it by way of a letter. Does that require Board of Aldermen approval to authorize me to do it, or can I do it just as my official position?
Well, the Board of Aldermen is the entity which makes all decisions for the city. You're the administrator. It couldn't hurt to have the Board of Aldermen back and saying that it would be effectuating the city's preferences by asking for intervenor status.
Okay, so my was just to add it to the agenda now and get that done so we can continue to move forward. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to add to the agenda. I don't know, would that be legislative new?
Yes. Meeting, so you can create that line.
Financial, it's not financial. Legislative new would be item number 9, so it would be 9.4. Add to the agenda authorization for the mayor to petition Pura on behalf of the city of Shelton to become intervenor status on the potential sale of Aquarion Water Company.
So moved. Second.
Motion is made and second. Is there any discussion? I spoke about this topic once before. If anybody wants me to reiterate it, I'm happy to do it. Some of you may remember that last summer in a special session, along with a few other items, special session of the legislature, they authorized the formation of a regional water authority for Aquarion, which would encompass a sale of about $2.4 billion to Eversource, who owns them now. I met today in Bridgeport with Mayor Ganem and several other area mayors to discuss the topic of becoming intervenor status. I think now that most people feel like I do and don't think that this is a good thing for the consumer. Regional water authority is half the size of Aquarion. Their rates are twice as much as Aquarion's. Their debt is twice as much as Aquarion's. Aquarion is, in terms of size and customers, twice the size of them. And the legislation is to merge them at, well, 2 separate water authorities along with the regional water authority out of New Haven. And there's a lot of skepticism on my part, and I think now other mayors who are customers of Aquarion are starting to feel the same way. I've shared some literature. I've shared some of the commentary from some of the legislators when they approve this. To me, it just doesn't make sense. You're gonna sell this entity for $2.4 billion, and why? I understand what Eversource wants to do, but there's got to be Aquarion's been sold. I want to say 4 different times in the last 25 years. Private equity firms, other water companies, but they've always been privately held and run. And we've done pretty well. The other thing that you should know is that Aquarion is also the largest landholder in the state, outside of the state of Connecticut. Years ago, we bought about 1,500 acres from Aquarion, including the site that the intermediate school sits on. So, there's a long history. They have been a good public servant as far as I'm concerned. And the famous and late state representative from the 113th, Dick Belden, has always told me He says, we have some of the best water in the world. And I have come to believe that. And, you know, to put this in the hands of a public entity, in my view, just doesn't add up. So the only thing that we can do at this point is petition, like other municipalities served by Aquarion, to become an intervener during the Pura hearing. Because Pura has to approve the transaction. Fran, I don't know, did you get sent some of that material? So, somebody said that they were gonna send it to you. Okay, so that's the short version. Again, I broached this topic before with this board. And so now, we have a motion and a second. All those, in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. It goes on to the agenda. So that'll be item 9.4. Okay, so let's go back.
The motion, not to be technical, but the motion was to add it to. the
Yes.
agenda.
Yes, that's what we did. Okay, minutes for approval, item 1.1, Board of Aldermen, regular meeting of April 10th, 2025.
Move to waive the reading and approve the following meeting minutes. Board of Aldermen, regular meeting of April 10th, 2025, so moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5.1, Finance Committee, item 5.2, Public Health Safety Committee, and item 5.3, Street Committee, all have no items. So we'll go on to the report of the mayor. I do want to make a couple of comments with respect to the litter committee that was just addressed by the gentleman here. So the last 2 years is the second year where we get that fund from the state. We have used that specifically for litter cleanup. If the litter committee has any recommendations and or personnel or summer help, sometimes summer kids to do that, I am all ears on that. In the past, we have had groups that have wanted to go out and clean roads, i.e. Nels Rock Road. And I would have the police escort them. So it was made safer. If not police, then I would send a public works vehicle that has the flashing lights on it. So we would fully understand that some of these are dangerous situations, but yet want to be proactive and keep them clean. The opportunity still exists to do that. So if the anti-litter committee has recommendations, I'm happy to sit with you and discuss them and try to put them in motion. The last question with respect to that, gentleman, how do you like living up at La Hermitage?
It's loaded, watch it.
It's a loaded question. I understand. Long ago issues.
Well, I used to
Why
live,
don't you be there?
I used to live there.
I heard.
Yeah, and when my kids were very young, and then we woke up one morning and we say, this is not working out, there's not enough room here. So,
More room than most places.
yeah,
No amenities.
yeah. But nonetheless, a pretty private place, which is good, I think. With respect to Tom Harbinson and his call for the appointment on committees, it's always been well understood that people who are appointed to committees, if their specific terms have expired, then they serve until they're replaced. And that's basically what's happened. If there are vacancies, that's a different situation. And yes, there are some vacancies. So that's all I have. Does the president of the board have anything for?
I have no report.
Okay. Item number 6 is legislative old. There are no items from public hearing. Item number 7, financial business old. There are no items. Item number 8, financial business new. Item 8.1 is May statutory refunds.
Move that the report of the tax collector relative to the refund of taxes for a total amount of $2,945.17 be approved, and that the finance director be directed to make payments in accordance with the certified list received from the tax collector with funds to come from statutory refunds account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.2 is the adoption of the tax collector suspense list.
Move that the tax collector's suspense list in the amount of $38,719.95 be adopted and transferred from the grand list into suspense per state statute section 12-165. For 2018, $77.80. For 2019, $2,300.40. For 2020, $11,898.65. For 2021, $17,145.67. For 2022, $4,252.57. For 2023, $3,044.86 for a total of $38,719.95. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8.3 is the over expenditure for Registrar of Voters Office.
Move to approve the over expenditure of the Registrar of Voters Office for the following accounts. Poll workers, $80,032. Printing and advertising, $25,761. Postage, $8,778. Election equipment, $3,539. Commissary, $7,136. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
Special elections?
Yeah. That's what prompted it. No one anticipated. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I have one other point that I wanted to make to the litter committee while they were here, when you talked about beautification projects. We have established a adopt a garden program years ago, when people were very active. And, since the pandemic, that has fallen off the earth, and there is money in the budget for it. So if there is any interest, tis the season for adopt a garden. I'd be happy to, again, entertain a proposal from the litter committee if they, were so inclined. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. Okay? Thank you. Item 8.4 is the transfer from contingency to the Barnum Festival Parade account.
Move to transfer with delight an amount of $2,500 from contingency general account to Barnum Festival Parade account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. For discussion purposes. It's not really the parade account. It was always labeled Barnum Festival. Excuse me, because there are a couple of events that I participate in from time to time, and they're generally fundraisers for the Barnum Festival, and that we have a long history associated with that regional event. So just for your edification. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.5 is the funding for the Board of Education maintenance projects.
Move to appropriate an amount of $13,035.13 for the following Board of Education maintenance items, with funding to come from automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. 1, repair of work on Mohegan School sprinkler system, $2,313.78. 2, replacement of pump at Perry Hill School, $993.47. 3, replacement of exhaust hood curbing at Boot Hill, $4,846. 4, emergency heating, ventilating, and air conditioning repairs at Shelton High School, $3,856. And 5, replacement of water heater at Board of Ed offices, $1,025.88. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 8.6 is the adoption of the Webster Bank resolution.
This is lengthy.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna read the whole thing. It's just, you'll just note in the motion that as presented through from the finance director, in the minutes of the meeting, in the agenda. Paul, are you on, Paul?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, do you want to give the board a quick background and update of what we're trying to accomplish?
What we're doing, this is for the automatic bonding issues through the end of the past fiscal year, through June 30th of 2024. We had done some previously before. The last time we borrowed money was in December of 23. And so we're basically 17, 18 months later doing this. We reached out for bids from our three primary banks, Newtown Savings Bank, M&T Bank, and Webster Bank. We received quotes back from all three. We're willing to lend the money over a 5-year period. And the quotes were spread apart. Newtown Savings at 4%, M&T Bank at 3.85%. And as you can see here, Webster Bank at 3.68%. So recommendation is that and there would be equal payments over a 5-year period commencing next May of 20% plus the interest. This is obviously a lower rate than we've had for the last 2 or 3 years, not significantly lower, but as you're aware, the Federal Reserve did not change federal rates yesterday, and we were fortunate enough to get this bid from Webster Bank, who we have a relationship with. We will be our attorney, Fran Teodosio, will be working with their attorney, who's out of a firm in Providence, Rhode Island, and we should close on this. And the intent is to close by May 22nd, but there's flexibility, and it doesn't have to be May 22nd, but that's the target date at this point, which is 2 weeks from today, obviously. I'll open any questions.
So the board is aware that this is something that we do on a regular basis. The last couple of years, we have not been on schedule. We have waited longer than probably we should have. The charter requires that you make payment on the automatic bonding in the new fiscal year, starting on July 1st, from the year that ended on June 30th. Sometimes we have let that lapse in the interest of waiting it out to see if there was a better interest rate that was coming down the pike. And, that kind of throws off the schedule. But the whole premise of the automatic bonding is so that after the first 5 years of this program, there is no net impact to the budget. When you put on $2 million worth of debt, you're also retiring $2 million worth of debt. We started doing this 25 years ago, and I got to tell you, I didn't have that. I had the idea, but I think I want to say it was Ray O'Leary, but I'm not sure. I just think it's an ingenious tool for municipalities. The state probably ought to take this as a model and require municipalities to do that, because this allows you to do so many different things. As these projects come up, we approve them in the meeting. So during the course of the year what they're spending the money on, and you have the ability to approve or disapprove. So I just wanted to, I petitioned Paul in the last few months to try to get this thing back on schedule. This is last year's automatic bonding. We are coming at the close of this year's automatic bonding. We may decide to do this in July or August of this coming year. I'm not sure. I think that the market will really dictate that. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Just one, Your Honor. So when Mr. Taylor said June of 2024, it wasn't 25. This is for last year.
This is last year's
Make
numbers.
sure I had the number right. Thank you.
I want to clarify 2 things. Who is the loan with? Which bank?
Webster.
Webster. And the rate is 3.65.
The document that they originally sent had the wrong dates on it that they had submitted to it. They mailed it as of last Friday. We received it Tuesday in our mail. And I spoke with the head of their municipal finance department out of their Providence office. they made a change because their first documents, as you may see and what you received, they had wrong dates. They had us paying the first payment on the same day on the same day that we were closing the account. We wouldn't make this payment for 12 months, and they changed the dates, and they slightly changed the
Okay, Paul, I think you
Great.
did
frankly, M&T Bank was attempting to meet or go lower on the rate. They called back this morning and they claimed that they would not be able to meet the rate, that there would be a loss for them. And so they were not willing to come down to the 3.68%.
okay. Anybody else have any questions?
So, and I understand in some of the discussion that this could be further changed. I don't know what, but it could be further changes, could be amended.
Well, yeah, anything can be
No, I
amended,
mean,
but
when council meets with their council, but there'd be no change to the substance of the agreement that we understand at this point.
Right, that's correct. The rate stays the same, the amount stays the same, but the documents to do it are listed in the commitment letter. Some of those might change. At times, there's different documents created based on the particular time the loan is occurring.
Can you just clarify, is it 3.65 or is it 3.68 as the email?
3.68.
3.68.
Paul, do you have a term sheet that says that?
We don't.
Didn't I just ask that question?
Yes.
I circled, it's with Webster's,
Second page.
It's not 15.
and it's 3.68.
Right, so let's not confuse the issue here. 3.68. That's,
Final payment due in May of 2030.
and look, Fran, if the number changes and the rate changes, we'll just come back. There's no immediacy on
Right.
this. What's another week? If it happens, I'm not sure that it will. Okay, anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Didn't have a motion in a second.
And we don't have a motion on the floor.
The adoption of the,
Move the adoption of the Webster Bank resolution as discussed.
And presented to the board.
And presented to the board.
second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, before we go any further, I do want to take the opportunity to recognize an individual that we are about to hire as Paul Hiller's replacement as finance director. Grace is sitting here in the front row. Grace, I'm sorry, could you tell anybody what your last name is?
That's no problem. Get it right. Why is the flag?
See, so now you know why I didn't attempt it. Yeah, and we are in the throes of finalizing things tomorrow. And she is on board to start to observe and understand the accounts and the workings of this board and in the finance department. Thank you. Okay, this takes us to item number 9, legislative new. Item 9.1A is the amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Article 2, the street excavation traffic control.
Public hearing.
What is this?
Back up, on 8.6.
This is the 8.6 is the Webster Bank resolution.
Okay. Well, that's the items, okay.
So we're on 9.1A, amendment to the Code of Ordinances.
And this just goes to public hearing.
Yeah,
Okay.
now the question, go ahead, take it.
Go ahead, Eric.
Before, I want to just note, do we have to do this in May go to public hearing in May. We got so many things going on. Can we do this in June, June 24th, the next public hearing date?
I think you can schedule whenever you want.
Yeah, well, I want to know if it impacts anything on everybody.
So tonight we're just forwarding it to a public hearing and then you can pick the date next week sometime.
Public hearing scheduled for June 24th, 2025.
I think we probably need to do it a little bit before that, John. This came from street committee, meeting with the city engineer. This has a lot to do with when these utilities come, they rip up the road, especially after we repave them, and they do not do a proper job on it. There are requirements that they're not meeting. And we've gotten pushback from one of the utilities on this and said, do you have an ordinance? And other cities and towns do. And so this is some of the changes, the amendments that you see.
So in other words, the road work's going to start.
Right, exactly right.
But
So
don't make it sound that we're not following a different standard because we are. We're just encoding it in our
Right,
ordinance.
exactly right. Yeah. So
All right,
it's just a simple update and that's what this is.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry. So are we in favor to move it to keep it at May 27th or to move it to June?
Well, you can say, he's gonna set the date
Yeah.
tomorrow or next week.
Date is May 27th.
Okay.
Date is May 27th. That's proposed.
Okay. Item 9.2, the appointment to the Community Garden Ad Hoc Committee.
Move to appoint Thomas Oisani to the Community Garden Ad Hoc Committee effective immediately. Thomas Oisani, 1 Vallejo Drive, Shelton, Connecticut.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Carries. Item 9.3 is the appointments to the Anti-Litter Committee.
Move to appoint the following people to the Anti-Litter Committee effective immediately. Steve Sedley, Democrat, 77 English Lane. Kathy Sedley, Democrat, 77 English Lane. Shelton, Connecticut. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.4 is was the add-on. This is the authorization for the mayor to file as intervenor status with Pura regarding the Aquarian Water Company sale.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made second. Is there any more discussion or comment? All those in favor?
Good.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session as corporation counsel and the tax collector. Does she need to be in this? No?
10.3.
Oh, okay, I see it here now. Okay, so then